Welcome to the Vetiver Vibes podcast. We're your hosts, Nikki Fraser and Rachel Dean, certified clinical aromatherapists. We are excited to have you here on today's episode where you know that you'll get the best essential oil scoop.
This episode is brought to you by Essentria, a leading online school for aromatherapy. If you want to learn more about how to become a clinical aromatherapist, check out the courses at www.schoolofessentria.com. Welcome to this week's episode of Vetiver Vibes. Nikki Fraser here with Jennifer Pressamone. Jennifer is the Vice President of NAHA, which is the National Association for Holistic Aromatherapy. And in this week's episode, we are going to talk all about the upcoming conference, which is Beyond Aromatics. It is an amazing conference. It's going to be an amazing conference, and I'm excited to dive in all about this with you, Jennifer.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here, Nikki. Thank you for having us and talking about our upcoming event. We look forward to these. You know, it's great to meet in person, and there's so much that we get out of the conferences. So we're just excited to be here.
Awesome. So I'd love for you to share with those who are listening maybe a little bit of the history of NAHA and kind of where it stems from.
Yeah, so NAHA was established in 1990, and there was a group of people who took an aromatherapy class. And so Patricia Davis was teaching a correspondence class at the time in Colorado. And so her and Annette Berwick, and there were some others, they got together and they were learning, and they really were learning some of the techniques and practices from Marguerite Maury's work.
Mm-hmm.
And so we know she helped to teach us how to personalize aromatherapy for not only skincare, but, you know, for whole body care. So that was really the beginning. And so after they finished this program, they all said, you know, we really need to put together an association where we can bring this knowledge and we can have a place and a space for others who, you know, who want to learn how to help themselves holistically with essential oils, with herbs, and with these natural healing practices. And so they formed the Aromatherapy Association. And so over time, you know, this group got together. You know, they created a steering committee. Robert Tisserand was on that committee. John Steele was on that committee, and as well as some others. And so from there, that evolved into creating the official name, the National Association for Holistic Aromatherapy. And, you know, the premise is to provide this space and this place where people can come get education. They can feel confident and comfortable knowing that they're getting the right information and the safe information to help themselves. And it all started, you know, getting in a room, just like, you know, the conference. You know, when you get people in a room, the most amazing things evolve from there. You feel the energy, you feel the excitement. It lights something up in you and inspires something. And thankfully, within them, it inspired them to create this collaboration of people to spearhead this organization. And then it has evolved from there. And every, you know, over the years, we've had different presidents, you know, come in, and board members and directors continue the evolution of bringing, you know, this safe and sacred space to people who want to learn about aromatherapy and learn how to help themselves, you know, holistically.
Amazing. And I remember I was reading the history because you do have a little bit of the history on the website. And I loved some of the other ideas on the name. I am really happy that everyone, you know, decided to go with NAHA because it's more inclusive of, you know, the national, not just and one was with Rocky Mountain. I was like, it's cute, but it's really that area. So and that's one thing I really love about NAHA is as much as it started in the US, it is global. It really, and the name, you know, the National Association, yes, it still encompasses US, but it just, it's so much wider than just one area, I find. And there are so many people worldwide that are part of NAHA, which is really, really amazing.
Yeah, we've expanded not just nationally in the United States and in North America, you know, with Canada and South America, but we also have worldwide representatives and worldwide members, where we are able to help people across the globe. And that's really what it's about. Again, the collaboration and bringing education. It's different in the United States than it is in Europe, than it is in
Mhm.
Asia, but there's always a common thread. And that's, the common thread of the safe practices, the education that you need to know how to apply it, to know the benefits, of using essential oils, but also hydrosols and flower essences and herbs. And so, fusing that together, you're right. It's so great that we have expanded, and now, we're in almost every continent right
Right?
now.
I know, it's amazing. And a lot of the words that you just said just reinforce that much more of the importance of associations, of ensuring that people who are educating are, they're certified, they're qualified to share this information. And it's not just, a 5-hour course that they've taken, but it's the hours behind that really lend that credibility to the person who is sharing this information, teaching this information. And that's where I always find associations are so important because it helps keep, especially in something that's unregulated like aromatherapy, because anyone can come in and just, share what they want. They don't need the credibility, they don't need the education backing it, and they can just share it in today's social media influencer world, which I absolutely love that people are sharing. But the associations ensure that those who are part of it are sharing, the most up to date, the safety aspect of how to use it. It's not just using it willy nilly. Like, we know these essential oils are super powerful and need to be respected. And I find the associations do an amazing job. NAHA does an amazing job of really emphasizing that, and that education part too.
Yeah, it's like you said. I mean, when I remember when I got into aromatherapy, it started with a class. And certainly you can't learn everything you need to know in one class, but what that class did for me is inspired me to think bigger, to think, wow, I am in control of my health. But I do need to have some background. I do need to have some education, because as much as we love aromatherapy, there is a wrong way to do it where it could cause detriment. And you're right, having an association to be affiliated with. And when I started, aromatherapy, we're, the longest standing association and the largest. And it was really nice to become a part of this community where I could talk to other people in my shoes. I could talk to people who've been in my shoes and are a little bit ahead of me, who could help, inspire me and advance my education. Because, there's a lot of books at this point. 23 years ago, we didn't have that when I
Mhm.
started. But, where we are right now as an association, having such a large membership, taking what we've learned and helping somebody from the beginner state. These are your next steps. This is what you really need in a foundation, and having a structured curriculum that we require our schools to follow, our
Right.
practitioners, having that level of certification, because we want to know that you've been trained. Not only did you learn the information or take a class and read a book, but you're practicing it. You have skills, you have hands-on skills, and the safety precautions, the contraindications to look out for. Health is We know more about health today than we did before, and certainly with a lot of people on different medications and having different health challenges, we want to be careful, in teaching others and making sure others are learning. These are great essential oils to help with this. And not only that, we're supporting research to
Yeah.
back this up. And we're doing it in a right way. And we're partnering with somebody who, I mean, science is probably her first language, and so we're doing the right studies to make sure we're getting the right feedback and the right knowledge, and then ensuring that our schools and the practitioners are teaching that, but also that the members have this safe space to come to and say,
Yeah.
hey, I'm learning this, but I'm questioning some things. Where do I go from here? So it's a nice community, a nice platform, a nice place to be plugged into, where you're walking beside people who are just like you, but also with mentors who can help you take your next steps and help you work through challenges and inspire you to learn more. I'm here today because I had some great mentors. When I got into the association, I joined one of their first conferences that they had in Boston, and I met the most amazing people being in the room with these powerhouse people who have their own health journey and this own knowledge. There's nothing that can compete with being live in that room, and being able to mingle with people like this.
Yeah, the network opportunity when you join an association is absolutely amazing. And I mean, myself being in Canada, I even just being the Canadian director for NAHA, being able to join in on our they're not monthly calls, but a few times a year when we get together, hearing what's happening in different parts of the world, different parts of the U.S., what other aromatherapists are struggling with or celebrating, it's having that connection, and and that energy is just it's catching, like you just feed off the energy, and that's just when it's through, through the computer, let alone when you get together in a room with people and everyone's excited to see each other, everyone's excited to listen to the presentations, that energy is just like 1,000 times more to finally meet people face to face. That I'm excited to get to a conference, one of these conferences, because honestly, like, I would just love to meet you face to face and give you a hug. Like, there's so many people that I've met through all these different meetings, and I'm like, I just honestly, I just want to go up and give you a hug and being like, it's so great to see you in person, and be able to share all kinds of things. Like, it's just the energy is so different, and that's the beauty, one of the many beauties of going to the conference.
Yeah, I mean, we can pick up on each other's energy, certainly, virtually, but there's nothing like you said, like the energy in that room. It's almost like a retreat for my mind and my cells, because you just light up and you
Mm,
feel the love and you feel the kindness and the appreciation, and we have to do that. We do mindfulness. Hopefully we do mindfulness in our daily routines, but being in a room with other loving beings, the kindness that you feel, that your heart feels, it just inspires you on a different level. And I
mm,
think, this year in aromatherapy, we have lost some of our some people who have
yes.
really been influential
We have.
in the aromatherapy community. And I can say it was an honor to meet them when I met them. And they all, they really helped to guide and maybe mold some of the ways I do aromatherapy, because we're forever students.
Hmm.
I know what I know because I learned it, but I also have firsthand experience. But when you get to learn firsthand experience in person from somebody else, and then I get to use, like, oh, that was a great technique, I'm going to try that. And then when I try that technique and I'm like, oh my gosh, so now I feel way more comfortable texting or DMing or calling that person to say, I tried your technique, it was so amazing, but I have a question. And we start this friendship and we start this collaboration. And those collaborations, I tell you, some of my best projects over the years started at a NAHA conference in a room, just sitting side by side, having lunch, having breakfast, going for a walk, just having this space where, we all just love aromatherapy, but we love nature and we love being, happy, healthy humans together. And so the networking component alone is so powerful. And that's why in this conference, we've always included a networking component. We have a trade show that allows for more networking, but we've implemented within the session some networking opportunities. And we encourage, all of the attendees, if you want to know somebody, I'm going to be the MC of the event, so you can't miss me. I'm going to be up front, but all of the board members and all of our directors will be noted. You're going to know who they are. And if you want to meet somebody, but you're a little shy, then you just come up to us and say, "Hey, I'm so and so. I would love to meet this person." And let us help make those introductions. I did that at conferences over the years, and that's how you build those networks and you build that collaboration, but it also builds your confidence.
Mhm.
And you feel like, I have a place here. I have a place here because this person knows me, or they're going to know me. And now I have an opportunity to step into my greatness and to step into gifts maybe I didn't know I had, because I get to be in this room and I get to network continuously with these amazing people. And so wherever you are, because I still get starstruck by people that I meet, that I've met them online and in the forums and through classes and through the NAHA webinars, but there's nothing like the in-person, the ongoing networking. You're so right. It's so important, whether you're in business or whether you're on your personal journey.
And something you brought up really resonated. I'm an introvert at heart. A lot of people kind of laugh when I say that, but I am. Like, you throw me in
Me
a new
too.
environment and I clam up. I'll be the girl standing, on the sideline, being the wallflower, just watching everybody. Because I love people observing also, but I'm not one to usually put myself out there. So if you're an introvert, it's okay. Don't be afraid to reach out to any of the board members, because they are more than happy to introduce you to anyone, to make a connection, to help with networking. Everyone in that room was in the same spot, even if they're not an introvert, even if they're an extrovert, they've all been in that spot at one time or another of being the new person. And so if you're deciding to go to the conference by yourself, not knowing anyone, one, awesome, amazing, way to take that leap. But this is the opportunity to meet those people, and seeing what there is. So don't be afraid to introduce yourself, because that's always been one of my biggest struggles. And I go to a lot of networking events to try and get over it, because it can be hard. So any fellow introverts, it's okay.
And I'm an introvert at heart, so I pay attention to that. And if I see somebody sitting off, and I've done this at past conferences, and there's plenty of people who will tell you, I walked up to them and just gave them a hug and thanked them for being there and said, "Who are you here by yourself? If you are, who do you want to meet, or who do you want to be
Mhm.
with?" If I mean, I know what it's like to go to conferences and feel, "Oh my gosh, I came here by myself. I don't know anybody." But I promise you, you will not leave by yourself. You're going to leave knowing at least five people. There's no way you can leave here and not know at least five people. You're going to know way more than that. But I'm just saying, it is a leap of faith to
Mhm.
come, but you're going to be in this loving, kind environment, who will embrace you, who will hold your hand and sit beside you and walk with you to help you learn what you want to learn and maybe apply it. Maybe you just need help. "Hey, I've learned this information. Now what?"
Mhm.
At the end of each session, one thing that I like to do is recap. These are like the points that I took away, and here's a couple ways to implement that. That way you leave with some tactical next steps.
Yep.
And if you don't know what those steps are, or you get home and you're like, "Oh my gosh, what do I do?" Then you message us and you say,
Yeah.
"Help. I need help with this." And I think as a healer in aromatherapy, you're going to find most everybody is an introvert. I have to really practice being an extrovert. But we're in this together,
Yep.
and we can do this together.
Yep. Awesome. So speaking of the conference, who's all going to be there? We're talking about presentations. Can you kind of give us a little bit of a sneak peek? And I know it's not a secret anymore or anything, but who are some of the people, key speakers that you have this year?
Yeah, we actually have, I think it's around 17 live speakers, and we have about 17 digital speakers. And one thing we're doing right now that we thought would be really fun is for all of the conference pass holders, whether you're doing coming in person or you're doing the digital, is we are recording the digital presentations in a live webinar. So you can actually come live and interact. And we've already been doing that. And so you can
Hmm.
interact with the speaker, and ask those questions at the live conference. We were very strategic in our speakers this year because we wanted those. We're bridging ancient wisdom with modern science, and so we wanted some people who have been doing this work, but who have expanded it, like Salvatore Battaglia and Valerie Cooksley, Kathy Skipper, Florian Berkmeyer, coming and sharing the depth of the work and the path that they've been doing. And then we've brought in some newer speakers who've not spoken before at the NAHA conference, but are deeply embedded in this work. We have Darla Dunn, who is a master hydrosol distiller. And so there's a whole art and science behind the hydrosols and how they interact with the essential oils. So bringing this knowledge, hydrosols we use, but they're not that top of mind. And so we want to make sure we're encompassing. Bevan Clare, we're bringing in for herbs. We have Joya Gao, who is going to be talking about neurodivergence and autism and ADD, and working with some schools in China and actually changing the way that they get benefits, that children with some autism and psychological challenges are getting funding and making an impact. So, we have others in here. We have Paula Bagel that's going to be there. We have Marian Raven. Um, Ragda is going to be there. She's one of our directors. Cecile Ellert, Angela Sidlow. I have my list here because there's so many. I didn't want to forget
Right?
anybody. Madeline Kirchhoff, she has been globally teaching on just the benefits with end of life care, and so she's going to be
Mhm.
teaching on wound care, which is so important to know that we're doing it right. We are going to have the board members. We're going to have a panel where we're talking about, and we're really bridging the psychological side of things with the physiological side, and that's another approach when we put this conference together, is to make sure we're bringing you relevant topics that are meaningful. And so we're focusing a lot on brain health, dementia, Alzheimer's, because it's affecting so many of us. Also with the grief, PTSD, the
Mhm.
emotional side of things, skin care, wound care, current research and science that's happening, and then different practices, from energy work and reflexology to inhalation therapies and very specific techniques that bridge the deeper understanding. Our whole beings, we're not just physical bodies, we're
No.
mental and emotional bodies. And so to bridge that together, every presentation, and I'm already seeing that happening with our digital speakers, there's so much overlap, and it's coming together, I think, even better than we planned. But it was really important to show you, yes, we have some pioneers that we want you to learn from and meet, but we want you to see people who are doing this work, who have graduated and who are certified, on what they're doing with this work. So wherever you are in your journey, you're going to find somebody, you're going to see yourself
Yep.
in one of these speakers, and you're going to be able to take your skills and your knowledge to the next level and leave with very tactical information, but practical steps, application methods, business strategies. Haley Rowe is coming as one of our digital speakers to teach us very specific business strategies.
Mhm.
So you can take this, because I think, you mentioned as an empath, one of the things we get a little shy about asking for the business and building our business and putting a price on the value that we deliver. But that's exactly what we're doing. And, we pay for a car, we pay for value other places, and we want you to feel like you're learning this for yourself, but that also you can have a profitable business where you just feel like, yes, this is what I'm supposed to do. And now
Right.
I know how to do it. I know what I need to do it. And I have all the education and information to strengthen my skills so I can be the best at doing this. So that's a little bit of the speakers that's coming. We have guided imagery. We have Beverly Hickam, who's going to be talking a little bit more about holistic skincare. We have some pain relief skills coming in. Nissa Hanger is going to be coming in talking about lunar aromatherapy and essential oils for the cycles of the moon. Tally Varney is going to be coming in with some corporate wellness programs. So we have a nice, well-rounded group of speakers and topics for whatever you're looking for, but also to help you advance forward and to think forward. What's coming? Where are our next steps? Where are we going to go from here? You're going to leave with all that.
I love it. I mean, so many powerhouse names that you mentioned, and topics, like, because I mean, and you might not recognize all the names, and that's okay, for listeners, totally okay. But the topics that you mentioned, so many amazing topics that, and I mean, it's just kind of scratching the surface, because I mean, they can't do 10-hour courses on these topics, but you're going to learn a little bit about everything where, spark that interest. You might be able to, it might spark something that, leads you to a whole new path, maybe, things like that. And just,
It's important because I know for me, when I was learning little niche classes, these conferences are great because you get to, it's like speed learning,
yeah,
instead of speed dating, we're speed learning because we get to learn a little bit about these different areas to see what lights me up. Where am I at? I know Kelly Holland Azara is going to be talking on animal aromatherapy, and Sharon Falsetto Chapman's going to be talking about functional perfumes. So when you hear all these little niches, whether it's psychological, physical, or blending techniques, extraction processes, science, you're going to know, wait, that's what I want to learn next. That's
yeah.
where I want to go in this leg of my journey.
And so some of them will maybe already tie into what you're doing, your section, kind of what you specialize in, quote unquote. But it might just open up a whole new world. I know I love working with moon energy and chakras and all of that. So when you mentioned like the moon, working with the moon, I'm like, yes, as much as I know a little bit, I love to learn from other people. I love to learn from people who actually, work in with this day in and day out also, who know more than me. And so there's just so many different topics, like you said, from children to sores to hydrosols, cardiac, there's, and I mean, and it's all listed on the NAHA website. So if you really want to go see, go to naha.org and check out the conference, because you can see the list of speakers, and with it, it does have what each speaker is talking about, and you will see such an abundance of topics that there really is something for everybody. And if you're a student who's still learning and you haven't even finished your certification yet, to a 20, 30, 40, 50-year veteran of aromatherapy, like there's literally something for everybody, which is what I absolutely love when it comes to these things.
And the time to start is now. I attribute much of my success to getting in the room early. I didn't wait till I was ready. You're never going to be ready by your standards, but I promise you, you're ready for whatever your next step is. And getting in the rooms are really important. And so if you can come live, that would be amazing because you get to meet all of us as the board and the regional directors, but also your fellow members.
Mm-hmm.
We have the most amazing goodie bag. I'm in charge of the goodie bag. So everything's already rolling in right now. And I tell you, it's amazing. Alone, you're going to want to come for the goodie bag. And so we have the conference, we've got a great rate with the hotel, but we also, made sure that we included some food for you. I know food is really tough for some people, but
Mhm.
this venue, the hotel, I've already been there and checked it out. It is amazing. It's beautiful. And the energy in there is so nice, but you have your rooms and then just a short walk to the conference center. It's attached to a food court. It's attached to a mall. It's just a few minutes from the beach, from theme parks, from botanical gardens, from a lot of things. So if you can come live, that would be best because it's going to be so amazing. If you can't make it, then we do have a digital ticket where you will get online access to all of the speakers, the digital speakers and the live speakers. It will be live streamed from the conference. So you'll be able to join via live stream on the digital package. So, we encourage you to come because I've already been reviewing some of the presentations and I've seen some of the digital presentations, and I've been doing this 23 years, but I've already had pages of notes of things that I've learned because I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. That's great. Oh, this
Right.
is a new technique. That's a really cool science. So I think it's great if we can learn from each other and, build ourselves in the process. So we hope to see you there in person, but if not, we'll see you there online.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is amazing that we do have the technology now. If you can't travel, because not everyone can necessarily travel to Florida. So it is in Tampa, Florida, October 23rd to 25th again. So if you can't travel in person, unfortunately, know a lot of people for different health reasons or time wise, or I know it's my son's birthday weekend, different things. It's, if you can come in person, fantastic. But if not, like I said, that digital option, you still get access to the presentations this way. And those who do go live in person, do they get access to the digital as well?
Yes. So if you're coming in person, you're going to have the live presentations, but you get the whole package.
Yeah.
You get the digital presentations. You're also getting that live goodie bag. We have some very special mindfulness practices. So you're going to feel like you're a retreat there. I have some secrets up my sleeve. At the trade show, if you want to come to the trade show, you don't necessarily have to have a conference pass. The trade show is going to be open to the public, so anybody can come and
Nice.
meet people. But we have some
Okay.
special things going on in the trade show, also from our vendors. So that's going to be a gift in and of itself. So
Awesome.
as a live conference pass holder, you're going to get all of that. You get access to that. If you want just the digital package, you'll get all of the speakers online, and then certainly from the public, you can come and visit the trade show and meet the
Hmm.
vendors and pick up some essential oils and hydrosols or in distillation stills and different products, perfumes, some functional perfumes, and meet some teachers who are teaching this education, and that
Yeah.
will help you wherever you are in your journey.
Yeah. Because I know that was always the one thing of when I do go live, being able to then, because then as I'm go through my notes, because I try and write down notes as it's live, but you want to kind of just enjoy the moment also without stressing of, did I miss something? Oh, like go back, re-say that. What did you just say? Like type thing. So that's where it is nice after, after you come home from being at the conference live, take a week to kind of just decompress and really enjoy the information you learned. But then as you're going through your notes again, you can be like, oh, yeah, like, I don't quite remember 100%. So you can hop online then and go rewatch part of the presentations, which is really, really nice. Because as much as I would love to sometimes pause and rewind live events, we can't quite do that.
And I think it's funny because we all have presentations, and sometimes it's the things that I didn't mean to say, but like I said in passing, that people come up and say,
Yes.
you brushed over it. You like threw it out like it was a common tip. But what about this little nugget? And I thought, oh my gosh, that's like a whole new class. Maybe we'll do that next
Right.
time. And I think some of these topics, that's how it emerged when we've gotten feedback. People are like, somebody mentioned this, but we'd like to go deeper
Yeah.
on that topic. And so you're right. It's nice to be able to go back and watch the recording and like pause it and take the notes and
Because it's often like in
blend
that,
in.
yeah, that storytelling of when they're trying
Yeah.
to explain a concept of, it's not in a slide. It's just the, a live experience, but it just reaches you a certain way. And it's just like, oh, I, really want to hear that again. And because it just sparks something in you.
Yeah.
So that's really, really nice to be able to do that part of it. So I think this is a great spot to kind of wrap this up. So again, please, if you can come to the conference, I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. It'll be an opportunity to, as we said, network, connect with people who understand aromatherapy, who, are walking the same path as you when it comes to aromatherapy, which is so, so great, because not everyone understands it. Not everyone understands the power of aromatherapy. So everyone in this room will, which is fantastic. Again, it's in Tampa, Florida, October 23rd to the 25th. We hope to see all kinds of people there. Do you have any parting words for our listeners?
Yeah, I just really want to encourage you, if you can make it live, it's the experience and the energy that you're coming for, and it will fuel you up. I never leave exhausted. I always leave like on top of the world, so filled
Yeah.
with inspiration and ideas. And it's exactly what my heart and soul needed to keep going. So on a personal note and personal development that you're going to get out of it. And then just as we leave, I just want to give a shout out and say thank you to our board of directors, to Annette Davis, who is our president, to Kelly Holland Azaro, Rose Shard, Sharon Falsetto Chapman, Eric Davis. We thank you so much. We've really put a lot of thought and energy into making this the best experience for you. And then also to our directors, such as yourself. You guys have really been the backbone of helping us continue the mission of NAHA and really getting education out and awareness and having this safe and comfortable space for people to come and learn and be a part of this, amazing, loving community. So thank you.
Absolutely. I absolutely love being part of NAHA. So it's a pleasure to always, promote the association and the conference as much as we can. It is going to be an absolute amazing event. So we hope to see all of our listeners there. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Jennifer, and we will see you at the conference. Bye.
See you there.
All right. I will stop the recording.
Thank you for spending your time with us here at Vetiver Vibes. This episode was brought to you by Essentria, a leading online aromatherapy school. Don't forget to check out some of our free resources at www.schoolofessentria.com.
If you love this episode or you got a lot of value out of it, please make sure you share it with someone in your community who you think would enjoy it too. If you haven't already subscribed or reviewed the show yet, you can go on over to your preferred streaming platform and hit subscribe, then leave a review. This is the best way to help support us, and we appreciate it. Email us with a screenshot of your review and we will send you a free guided meditation as our way to say thank you.
This podcast is for information purposes only. We are certified clinical aromatherapists and holistic health professionals. If you have a medication concern, please refer to your health team. Everyone's health is unique to themselves, so the topics and suggestions stated may or may not apply directly to you.